Types of reactions. We are going to discuss 5 common classifications of reactions in chemistry. And hopefully, Gabby, Guy, and Stephanie are listening to this at home. So everybody say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
I love you, Steph.
Right,
I love you.
Moving on.
Oh, okay,
You
okay.
just say what's up.
You just said what's up. Okay, moving forward. By the end of this, we should be able to see what type of reaction it is, composition or decomposition, just based on an equation. We should also be able to predict the composition of a composition reaction. All right. So first off, you don't have to copy this down. Don't copy this down. You know how we talked about the types of matter? We talked about pure substances and mixtures, and also elements and compounds. So we base those by how similar they are. They're similarities, and we do that with types of reactions too. There's billions of types of chemical reactions, billions. So these are a few of them of how to recognize a couple of them. So the first one, and you want to write this down, it's called composition, also known as synthesis. So, Antonio, can you sit normal? Thank you. Can you sit like you're supposed to? Composition reactions, the key thing is that they have multiple reactants and a single product. So if you look at all these, there's one single product and all have multiple reactions. So you're adding 2 things together, or 3 things, or 4 things. It could be multiple. But the key thing is there's one single product. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay. So modeling composition. So just look up here. You don't have to write this down. So just eyes up at the board. Eyes up at the board. So we have 2. These are the reactants. We have chlorine and magnesium. Now, they come together to form a single product. So you have more than one reactant. You have chlorine plus magnesium forming magnesium chloride. You have just this one product. Okay? Does that make sense? You guys see that? Antonio. So, yes, Henry?
So, when you trying to combine those things like this, there's protons and neutrons that matter to this, or
the only thing that matters would be charge. So, if we have magnesium, magnesium's +2, chloride is -1. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But
we're going to need our ion list.
We're going to need our ion list. So you can predict this. So you should be able to predict that you make MgCl2, not because that there's 2 Cl's here, but because of the charge. Decomposition. So copy this one down, guys. So decomposition reactions are similar to composition, but they're reversed. Whereas we have a single reactant and multiple products in a decomposition, compared to composition, where we have multiple reactants in a single product. So look at all these reactions. We have one single reactant, one substance reacting, and multiple products. This here, if you guys ever look at a bottle of hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2, you notice that there's an expiration date on it. And that's because hydrogen peroxide decomposes to water and oxygen. So if you leave it there past its expiration date, you just have a bottle of water. So that's theoretically, but I would never drink anything out of a chemical bottle. So, I mean, so moving forward. So everybody look up here. You don't have to copy this down, but let's model it. So copper to chloride breaking apart into its elements, copper and chlorine. So we have one single reactant and multiple products. So what we're going to do now is I want you guys to classify the following. So here in this first one, we have one reactant and multiple products. So what type is that?
Decomposition.
Decomposition. Second one, multiple reactants in one single product. Okay? What about the third one? Decomposition. We have one single product in two different one reactant in two separate products. It doesn't have to necessarily be the elements. It can be just into different particles. What about this third one?
Neither.
This is other. We have two reactants and two products.
This is number 4.
This is what we actually call a single replacement reaction, which we'll talk about tomorrow, because you notice how the F replaces the Cl. So the F takes the place of the Cl there, so that's why we call it single replacement. What about the last one?
Composition.
That's another composition reaction. All right, guys, so let's try these ones real quick.